Well, I think it's a very appropriate time for it to be released because, it's a time when it's not just for Japan, of course, it's for the whole world. It's an anniversary. We need to be reminded that there was this time when the world was in turmoil. And certainly for the younger generation, particularly perhaps people who've grown up who were born in Japan many years after the end of the war, and Japan has been not just a very prosperous country; it's been a very stable country. It's been one of the great liberal democracies, and it probably hasn't gone through a lot of the uncertainties that some countries in the West has gone through. And I think it's a timely reminder that this is not something you can take for granted. That just a few generations ago, Japan went through a very dark period and then went through an awful Second World War. And so I think that's a timely reminder, and I think it's important that each generation keeps reminding themselves that we're very lucky, but we have to always fight and battle to keep this peace and this democracy. Having said that, I would hope that this movie will be a film that will survive long after this anniversary. I think just as my book has somehow survived for 42 years and it's remained in print all of that time, I would hope that Ishikawa-san's film would also last for decades after the anniversary. And I think it's a film that I'm hoping it will be a film that will be quite universal and timeless because it's about because in the end it's about how people recover from the worst things. Now, for many people in Britain, when I was growing up, as soon as I said I was from Nagasaki, they just thought of one thing. They thought of the atomic bomb. And they thought of Nagasaki as this place of death and devastation. And this was quite strange for me because, of course, for me, Nagasaki was indeed a place of hope and optimism. The atmosphere in Nagasaki was that time when people were growing confident. And there was this sense of wonder and amazement about every month there'll be some sort of new piece of electronics that appeared that nobody had seen before, or there was a new building built or something. So there was this real sense of things getting better and the economy getting better, and everybody was optimistic. And of course, Nagasaki itself is a very beautiful city. There's a lot of sea and mountains. Often you can see these two things together. And so even the visual images I have of Nagasaki is of sun and sea and open sky and mountains and trees. I mean, the atmosphere is one of regeneration and moving forward. So it's completely different to this image that British people had of this devastated place. And I didn't really think about the atomic bomb until I was much older, and living in England. For me, Nagasaki was this place where people were looking forward to the future. And of course, a lot of the industry was picking up their Mitsubishi in the shipyards, and everything was regenerating. And our family itself was one that, my father was wanting to come to Britain, and he went to the United States to further his own scientific research. So it was a time of looking outward. And Nagasaki has always had this tradition of being a gateway to the international world. I mean, this goes back to ancient times. And so I think of Nagasaki like that. It's a doorway to the outer world, and it was also, for me personally, it's a place that ushered in this modern era of modern Japan and the modern world. I hope you'll go and see this movie by Mr. Kei Ishikawa. Although he was a tiny boy when I first published this novel, he's decided to create a beautiful film for the Japanese generation today, and he believes that this story will speak to the current generation, and I think it will too, and I hope you will enjoy it.